Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have a Pivoting to Web3 podcast, Nicky Billou. And I am glad to have him here. He has an outstanding background in AI and he's in the Web3 space. I'm just glad to have him on the show. So let's turn it over to Nicky. And Nicky, say hello and give us an idea on your background and how did you come into the Web3 space?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, Donna. Real honor to be here. And as far as my background is concerned, I'm originally an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran. And my late father, God rest his soul, he could see the writing on the wall that this was not going to be a place to raise a Christian family. So he made a plan. He executed it. He got us out of Iran. And he settled us where I now live in Toronto, Canada. Now, at the time I was 11, I didn't want to leave my friends. I didn't want to leave my home. And my late father, he was the greatest man I ever knew. He was an entrepreneur, but he was a lover of human beings. He would always tell me, son, life is about people. It's not about money. And then he would say, business is about people. It's not about money. And I just go to him, I go, Dad, what are you talking about? Of course, business is about money. And he said, no, son, business is about people. You need to solve problems for people, and then you get the right to earn a profit. Problems, people, profit. That's the purpose of business, all business. My father, he was such a great man. If you knew him and you were looking for work, he would sit down with you in his office. He'd call all his friends and browbeat them until he got you a job. If you were looking to start a business, he would sit down with you and he would help you map it out. He would help you get access to funding and even clients. And if he knew you and you were trying to buy a car or a house and you didn't quite have enough money and the bank wouldn't give you anymore, he'd top you up with a loan that he would never allow you to pay back.
So your dad sounds like a major influence in your life, and a good man that he is a good man that you are. And from what I read in your bio, you've had a lot of experiences. So at the end of the day, with you here in this Web3 space, which of the technologies do you use mostly in your business? Because you're right. I started this podcast really out of the love of people, and I felt they needed to keep learning and understanding. Had I not gone and got additional information about blockchain, AI, DeFi, and really try to figure out what the heck was going on, I would not be here now. I thought it needed to be shared. People need to understand what's coming because the only thing I could think of was Intel. And I didn't know what Intel was about back in the day, and I missed that wave. So with that said, with this being an education program overall, and it increases awareness for the guests and the listeners and what's happening out there with the guests and their companies and their experience, where and how are you utilizing some of the technologies in the Web3 space? I think you and I talked about AI. What are you using right now?
So I'll tell you what, I'm a person who's written 10 books, right? So here's some of my books. And a couple of them are New York Times bestsellers and have gotten the attention of some of the most famous people in the world.
You want to give some names? Because some people can't see what we're doing. Some people are listening.
All right. Well, this is my most famous business book. It's called Finish Line Thinking: How to Think and Win Like a Champion. I wrote this myself. And then I also wrote this book. It's a kid's book called Kathy Capitalist and Johnny Jobmaker. It's about teaching little kids about free enterprise and liberty. This book is called The Power of Connecting, How to Activate Profitable Relationships by Serving Your Network. And this is how to create $1 million a year income. The last two books I wrote with two of my clients. And I wrote a fitness book with an Olympic gold medalist.
Tell me how you've used AI and Web3 in your businesses and how that's been helpful to you.
Well, I'm getting to that. To that. So I've written these books, and I wrote all these books the old-fashioned way, writing them, by sitting down and thinking my thoughts.
Right.
And then a good friend of mine called me and said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "What am I not going to believe?" He said, "I just wrote a book in less than an hour." I'm like, "What?" He said, "It's a 150-page book. I wrote it in less than an hour." I'm like, "What, are you kidding me? That's impossible. Who can write?"
Right.
He said, "It's possible with AI." I'm like, "What? AI? Artificial intelligence?" He goes, "Yeah." And he said, "I can show you how to do it too." So I'm like, "Okay." So he told me what to do. And I took a deep dive into using ChatGPT. and
Okay.
the prompts. And I thought, okay, I have an area of expertise. I teach people who are in the coaching space how to grow their income, how to scale it. And I thought, okay, we're going to write a book. These are the 10 things I talk about when I work with those people, and I'm going to do it entirely by AI. So I said, okay, give me a synopsis. AI wrote a synopsis for me. I gave it some detailed prompts and I had a full synopsis. I said, okay, great. I like the synopsis. Let's do a complete outline. So we did a complete outline for 6 chapters initially. And then I added 4 more to it. And I said, all right, AI, write me a 10-page introduction. I got a 10-page
Wow.
introduction. I read through it. It was brilliantly done. Then I said, okay, let's take chapter 1. I'd like you to write 12 pages in chapter 1, and I want you to go into this, this, and this type of detail. So I gave it a lot of detailed prompts. Anyways, long story short, less than an hour later, I had a 120-page book on 6 strategies that you can use on
Wow.
how to grow your consulting practice, your coaching
Wow.
business. And this was written entirely by AI. And I'll tell you something, whenever you want to write marketing material, I suggest that the first thing you do is you go to ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT to write something for you. Once you've got that, start putting in some prompts that put a bit of your own flavor in there. And this is one of the things I've been teaching people how to do. And boom, you can write letters with AI. You can write some beautiful white papers. You can write ebooks. You can write books. This can be a machine to help you generate content, to help you generate ideas, to help you generate authority. AI can do all of that for you. What could have taken you years, if not decades, can now be done literally in a matter of hours. That's how I use AI. That's how I teach clients how to use AI. I've done 3 webinars in which I promise people you come in at the beginning of the webinar, and at the end of 3 hours, you're going to have your book written by AI for free. I didn't even charge for it. And 40 people learned how to write a book using AI in under an
Wow.
hour. Beautiful.
Wow. I didn't know it was going to take an hour. I thought it would take a little bit longer than an hour. So I've learned something myself. So, with all of that said, with the AI and what you could accomplish in content and writing and introductions and everything else, did you feel uncomfortable about any of the writing that took place? Or what do you think about some of the conversations that are going on in regards to tone or borrowing some of the tones of previous authors and copyrights? Do you have any type of opinions on any of that right now that you would like to share?
Look, I'm a forward thinker. Throughout history, there's been new technologies, and there have been backward thinking people who try to like say crappy things about the new technology and try to destroy it and say it's bad. There's always going to be those
So
people.
you're not gonna
I
put it in a box. You're not gonna put it in a box,
No, you're
okay?
not. I ain't interested in dealing with that. I'm not interested in listening to people who are negative. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
think it's
I'm a
very positive. I do too. I really do. But I wanted your opinion on that since you're the first one I've had that really wrote books, continued utilizing it. I've learned a little bit on how to do it. I haven't written a book yet. I thought it would take more than an hour. So you're giving me hope that I'm going to get it done. I'm sure there's some other people listening who's like, oh, I could do it in an hour. I could really do all this just to hear about it. I think this is a fabulous thing. Is there anything that you would like to see on your wish list that you haven't encountered as of yet with AI or any of the blockchain or any of the new technologies? What are your thoughts on
To
some
be
other
honest
areas?
with you, my only problem with ChatGPT is unfortunately it's certain things they won't let you do. And I think that's wrong. I think these AI platforms should let you do whatever you want to do. It's not their business to be, my policing me and what I have to say. They just provide the tools. It's up to me how I use them. And that's what I think's on my wish list, is to get rid of this nanny state uh, energy that's permeating some organizations, not all of them, like
Mhm,
ChatGPT.
mhm. So I hear you there. And I'm curious to know what challenges did you find when you first started using ChatGPT? Is there anything that really comes to mind that you saw as an obstacle, and how did you work through it?
Well, the only obstacle that I've encountered is that sometimes ChatGPT wants to tell me how I can write and what I can say. So I've had to find ways to say prompts differently so it'll do what I want it to do. And that's what I've done. And if I don't want to use ChatGPT, there's tons of other AI platforms out there, and I've used a number of them. To be honest with you, none of them are as comprehensive and effective as ChatGPT, which is why I stick with ChatGPT so far. But there'll be a time, there'll be platforms out there that will let you do whatever you want to do, and they'll be as good as ChatGPT.
So are there others that you like? And even though your favorite, like my favorite is ChatGPT, Open AI is really my favorite. It's my go-to. But I do have a few others that I kind of compare to see what comes out. Do you just rely on OpenAI or ChatGPT, or are there a few others you'd like to bring to the forefront for a discussion?
At the moment, I'm using ChatGPT for what people need to do for business. It's the best. So there's really not a point in grabbing other ones. Like if there's pieces of what I'm doing that I can use other ones for, I've done that, but it's not convenient. With ChatGPT in my business, I can do whatever I'm looking to do with AI. I can write copy, I can write a book, I can come up with ideas, I can come up with sales scripts, phone scripts. It's wonderful from that perspective. So I highly recommend it.
Okay, that's really good to know. So at the end of the day, how can people reach out and connect with you if they wanted to have some additional insight, take one of your classes, or just connect with you, or be taught, follow up your books? How can they reach you?
On any social media platform, all you got to do is type in my name. It's unique. I'm the only Nicky Billou in the world, at Nicky Billou. And if you want to have a conversation, go to my website, go to eastcircleacademy.com/appointment. Let me know that you listened to me on this show and get on my calendar, and I'll do a free coaching call with you.
That sounds great. Now, before you go, I usually ask this question, and I didn't ask it. What is it that I didn't ask you that you think you should share with us, or any nuggets that I'm not aware of that you want us to have an eye on? Any research or any projects or something you want to give us a heads up on?
I think that we're living in a time where there's a lot of uncertainty going on in the world, and there's a lot of people that are scared, and they're wondering if they have what it takes to navigate this world. And maybe that's even you who's listening to this. And I'm here to tell you that you've got greatness in you. God put that greatness in you, and all you need is someone to see it and believe in you. And then you need to learn how to enroll people in your vision. Those are the two things you need in the world. If right now you could use somebody to believe in you because you don't believe in yourself enough, then I'm going to tell you, jump on that call with me, because that's what I'll do for you. I'll believe in you. I'll help spark that flame of belief into life for you. And if you really are somebody with a lot of great ideas, but you haven't had a lot of luck basically enrolling people in your vision, that's the other thing you need help with. And get on that same call. We'll talk about it, because everybody on this planet deserves to have someone who believes in them, someone who loves on them and pours into them. And they deserve to be able to communicate their vision in such a way that other people will get excited about it and those visions can come alive.
Oh, that's awesome. So thank you so much. From Pivoting to Web3 podcast, Nicky Billou, and vision, and enrolling people into your vision. I think that's very powerfully said. And for all, thank you for listening to Pivoting to Web3 podcast. Have a good morning, good day, good evening, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks for listening to Pivoting to Web3 at pivotingtoweb3.com. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that it gets to you with every episode that comes out. We have lots of great opportunities, limitations, and downward spirals being revealed by our guests. And thank you in advance for all your reviews and comments. I appreciate you so much. I look forward to serving you in the next week's episode.